Hey guys, it's Maria Park, and welcome to the Charmed After Show of Approach the Nerd, where we're going to talk about everything that happened tonight in Charmed, episode 11. And it was a lot. A lot. Little disclaimer, your girl Maria here is anemic, and tonight I am anemic as hell, so I'm not feeling that great, but I got my water. I just ate a crap ton of blueberries, so I have energy to get through this stream, but yeah, my anemia is not being nice to me tonight. So just throwing that out there. So if I'm not as rambunctious or hyper as I normally am, it's not because I did not enjoy the episode. It's because I have anemia. So yay to that. Fun times. Hello, Alawakorida Alpha Lion. If that's your real name, it's beautiful, but I butcher your name, so please don't take that personally at all, because I am that person. So the girls follow the Perfecti's advice and instructions, basically, because the Perfecti are basically the avatars from the OG Charm. They're just a-holes. I'm sorry. They're a-holes. And so they are like, oh yeah, just go get this egg that's protected by this living creature. And so the girls go to Turkey, to the Anatolia caves. And they were told that the mist is toxic. It's kind of like a security feature that the Perfecti came up with to keep people out. And they even said, we really never expected anybody to want, that wasn't a mortal enemy to ever come in there. So we never really thought to have a cure to this allergy you guys have. So it may work. It may not. There may be side effects. I mean, they were so vague. So yeah, I already knew some stuff was going down. You could tell by the preview. I mean, they kind of spoiled it in the last preview, episode 10/4/11, that they were going to regret this decision. And so we get to see exactly the extent of how bad it actually was. So they do manage to get the egg. They do their incantation, and, they get blasted like they were before, and their allergy's gone. And not only is the allergy gone, they start getting everything they want. Everything they wish for starts to come true. Like Macy wanted to go to Paris with Harry. They went to Paris. Maggie got the internship she wanted. Mel got to, even though she's a part-time professor, she got offered a full-time, tenure track position at the university or the college. Like everybody, they just started getting everything that they wanted. They even thought that Josiefina was getting her powers because she was actually locking herself in the attic to work on the Book of Shadows, but she was also working on a spell to try and unlock her hidden abilities or whatever. And I'm going to say Josefina is Poison Ivy. If you're a comic fan or a DC fan or a Batman, animated series fan, she is literally Poison Ivy. So she's like the definition of Poison Ivy. She even pulled a Poison Ivy. So Josefina is a whole ass Poison Ivy in Charm now. So they are coming closer to the Arrowverse. But anyway, so we'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, they got everything they ever wanted, but then things started to backfire. So Maggie did get her internship, but the trade-off was Antonio was in a car crash that almost killed him. Or he was actually, I think they were like, he's not going to make it. Macy and Harry were going to this very, ritzy 5-star hotel in Paris, and something happened with their room, and they got upgraded to the honeymoon suite. And then there's an elderly couple that comes, and they're like, oh, they're like, we booked this room 6 months in advance, so we already know the reason that they got that room is because of it's Macy. She's a charm one, and all her wishes are coming true. She wished to stay there, therefore anybody who had plans or anybody that was going to stay there got booted for them. But the trade-off was because they chose to give the key to the elderly couple to stay in the honeymoon suite because it was very nostalgic. And they're like, we stayed there 40 years ago and this is our 40th anniversary. Well, the husband ended up having a heart attack. Ergo, they got the room back. And so they started seeing like, okay, this is weird. Weird things are happening because of what we did. There's a little side story too. Poor Abby. Abby this entire time has been hurting herself, cutting herself, trying to scratch off her skin. She's doing it as her demon form because her demon form is trying to kill her. She's so desperate, she goes to Jordan to try and get him to help her bind her powers and make her mortal. I thought that, number one, for me, Abby doing that, becoming immortal, she's like, I'll just become a mundane mortal just like you, blah, blah, blah. But she's going to have the same problems that Parker faces. And that's that every demon she's wrong will come after her and she won't be able to protect herself. And the charm ones aren't going to protect her because right now Mel and them have been douches to her. So, I mean, she's literally going to be on her own. So I was against that anyway. But I figured something was going to happen with the Perfecti because the demon side of Abby took over and she went to the Charm One's house to kill them. And then there's like a gust of a blast of wind or whatever that came at her and, you know, knocked her out of the house. And then it came later when her and Jordan were trying to do the spell and took her. And then he was facing off and he's like, who the hell are you? And he's never met the Perfecti that I know of. So they're basically in the prison. They put both Jordan and Abby in the same prison the sisters were in. And that is so messed up. I feel so bad for Abby and Jordan. They literally are the ones that get the shit end of the stick in every episode they're in. I feel so bad, especially since in this episode, Maggie basically was talking to a therapist and said, you know, I shouldn't have shellfish, but I really like shellfish. And then you see her, like the vision of Jordan is like in her mind. So she's thinking about the fact that she really likes Jordan. So we're back to her liking Jordan now and not trying to sleep with Antonio. I don't know. It's very confusing for me. But in all intents and purposes, she's back on the Jordan train. And she was trying to tell him, you know, how she felt and then got interrupted. And that's when she found out about Antonio. And then later she calls him and then at the end, and she's getting this like glitzy, like interference on the phone. Now, what's interesting is I saw the trailer for next week and we don't see Jordan mentioned or Abby at all. And I'm like, I guess they just don't care right now. I mean, and them being missing, I guess, isn't high on the priority list. So I don't know, guys. It's weird. So yeah, I feel so sorry for Abby. I hate the line that Abby said made me very sad for her when she woke up and she's like, Jordy, and she's like, they always sneak out while you're asleep, don't they? And I'm like, oh, that's so messed up. And I'm like, this is so messed up. Anybody that hates Abby in this series has a problem because I get that she's done bad things, but I mean, you can see everything in that girl's life is trauma. Like everything is trauma. So you know, it is what it is. Another side note to this story. We got to see, even when things were going perfectly, just the struggle that Harry is having with his immortality. He wants to be mortal. And every time he wants to talk to her, you know, Macy about it, she's like, no, I can't watch you die. But she's completely all right with him watching her die. And then the couple that they gave the room to, it was the husband that had the heart attack. And Macy's like, I don't want to end up like that. And, you know, it's like, Harry's like, but I don't want to be immortal. I want to be mortal. So the struggle is real. And it looks like the next episode, we're definitely going to see more of that. He's going to try and get rid of his mortality, which is probably why we're not going to see Jordan and Abby. Well, we probably will. It'll probably be a short little story or whatever. But it's definitely going to be more hasty next week. But I just thought that was so interesting. Like, it was just really interesting that, you know, even when things were going perfectly, Harry still wasn't happy. Like, you saw them at dinner and he wasn't happy. He was just like his entire like demeanor was just like, wow, this is like a moment in time for me. And, you know, and even Macy was like, you think we'll make it 40 years or, you know, we could be like this and start a relationship for the rest of our lives. And I'm thinking Harry's like, nah, bitch, because you're going to get old and I'm going to stay young. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Question. Who here thought when the sisters first got rid of the allergy and they held, you know, Maggie stood up and held her hands out and they grabbed the hands. And then, you know, they were sitting there for some reason, the sisters were watching Macy and Harry make out, which is kind of weird because, you know, you could be doing something else. Who here got the vibe of this is a COVID vaccine commercial? Like, we can finally touch and hug. I'm like, that was funny to me. I'm sorry. That was really, really funny. Okay. Just had to throw that out there. So there's a lot of things about the episode I did like. I did like that. First of all, Maggie and and Mel were literally wearing the hell out of those Asian pattern outfits. Like I think Mel had on a dress and Maggie had on this really pretty top. And I was like, okay, I was window shopping. When you have me window shopping in a show, we can talk. So I was very happy about that. And I will tell you this as a woman of color. This is my real hair. You will see me wear wigs. Wigs are easy to put on. I'm telling you, Macy is like a superhero. That girl can weave that damn ponytail into her head, into that curly mane without straightening all of her hair like nobody's business. She was ready to go to Paris like that. I was like, girl was like, let's go. I'm like, what? I'm like, do you know how long that takes in real life to do? I have friends that go and get weave put in that are that length. It is not a 10-second experience. So, okay, but I suspend my disbelief. You do it because she looked damn good. The dress looked good. Macy was on point. I have no problem with that, but she kills me. Her makeup and her hair should take hours unless she's personal gaining that stuff. I'm just saying, just had to say it. I just had to say it. So yeah, that was a problem. But long story short, the girls did decide to reverse everything. And that's when we got to see the poison ivy come out in Josefina. Because Josefina was like, you guys are the charm ones. You guys, you get the house, you get the family, guys have everything. I don't have anything. You're not taking this from me. So she literally started doing what poison ivy does. Started having those vines come. And I think a few, maybe 2 reviews ago, we had this conversation, and I know one of the things I said was, I think she should be plant-based, and somebody else had said it too. And a lot of people said she should have plant-based powers because they don't have it. I'm gonna have to go find that in the stream. So I love the fact that they actually did it, but I never thought they would freaking do it because she's basically Daniel Panabaker from the Flash's character from Sky High. The same abilities, only with more poison ivy in her because she's sassy. Josefina is sassy. But she was like, you're not taking it. She had all the vines wrapped around them. Now, I'm going to tell you, you can always tell the ones who don't really have time for anybody's bullshit. Macy and Harry are soulmates because they think alike. Because Macy was like, okay, hold up. You can tell on her face she was about to do some shit. And then Harry was like, okay, we've had enough of this crap. And he was about to orb out. And then Mel's like, don't orb out, Harry. No, don't. Only Josefina can do this. And I'm like, Harry had this look on his face like, like they don't play. They are the two that are just like, let's just kill people. It's fine. The white lighter and the oldest logical one are the ones that are the number one charged to take people out. I find that effing hilarious. I'm sorry. I think it's extremely funny. You would think that Mel, being the activist, would be the one that's pro-violence, but nope. It is Macy and Harry. So I love the fact that I really love the fact that when they were talking and Mel was saying being a witch is about, more than just having powers and more than, basically, you're basically protecting people, doing this for the greater good and all that stuff. And then Josefina's like, well, why didn't you use your power to melt the vine? Why didn't you use your power? And Mel's like, I did, to prove a point. But then I'm thinking back to season 2 when Mel's like, I'm worthless. All I do is make potions. I'm like, it's easy to tell people, it's okay not to have powers when you have powers. I'm just saying. Mel was probably not the best one to deliver that one. She was not the best one to deliver that line, considering how power obsessed she was and how her mission to get her powers back in season 2 was driving her insane, and how she had no belief in herself because she was like, I'm just a girl who just makes potions. I mean, literally that's what Josefina does. So I thought that was really, really funny. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was really, really, really cool that Josefina, not only she was willing to give up her powers, she got to keep them, because when they went back to the cave to put the egg back, for some reason the entrance was like, nope. Which you would think when they took the egg, then the cave would be like, nope. Nah, it's when they put it back and then the cave was like, and now you're doubly punished. But it made this big a hole And then she made like this really flimsy vine branch thing going on, which I guess you can just create, vines out of thin air, because I don't know where she got those vines from, because there shouldn't have been any in that cave. But she was able to make those vines, and then they were able to walk across it. Again, tightrope style. That was some tightrope style. If you had vertigo, you weren't doing that. And then they were able to get out. So she got to keep her powers, and they did a very cool ritual, which I thought was really, really pretty. And she got to grow flowers, so she can grow flowers too. So yeah, I am happy that Josefina has her powers. I'm very curious to see what else she does, because Mel tried to get her to go to school, and she was like, school is not for me. And I don't know if it's because she had a terrible time in school prior to that, which probably there's trauma there. Maybe she doesn't know. When you're transgendered, it's really hard for you to feel like you fit into different places. As someone who's married to a transgendered individual, I see it sometimes. I see how transgenders are actually treated even in the workplace. So it could be something on that she's very hesitant to go to school and open herself up to people and have all these questions. And, and then quite frankly, maybe people just get on her nerves. Like the guy in the library was an a-hole. If Mel gave her a day pass and said, you can check out this book, and dude's like, this is for only registered students or, current students or of the college. That's BS. Then why did my cousin lie to me? I mean, she effing lied. And then if that was a problem, then why didn't Mel go get the damn book for her? I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know why she couldn't just check that book out for her. I mean, Josefina said, can you help me get this book? She didn't say, can you give me a day pass, give me a tour of the school I don't want to go to, make me go to the library and get embarrassed by this jackass behind the table. Yeah, I don't get that. But overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I'm absolutely certain that the Perfecti are freaking Avatar equivalent from the Charm version or original Charm version or series. And I really think that Abby and Jordan were both thrown into this magical prison. I am not happy about it, because I'm tired of them being the damn underdogs in this series. It's making me sad. It's making me sad. And then I keep thinking, if it was just Abby in that prison, they wouldn't even go get her. But because Jordan's there, and Jordan's connected to Maggie and has been their counselor, they'll go rescue him, and then by proxy, they'll get Abigail. It's just so sad. Like, all of it to me is just effing sad. So yeah, I'm having a lot of problems with that. A lot. Okay, so let's look at some comments, guys. They won't even realize what happened to Abby and Jordan because the charm ones don't talk to them anymore and only go to Abby when they need something. I mean, they've been doing it since they met her. I mean, it's sad. I like the metaphor of the flower and Josefina and her power and stories intersecting. I do too. I love the blossoming, metaphor, all of that. I love all of that. But you have to admit, Ray, Josefina is effing poison ivy. She is poison ivy. I love her eyes glow green. Yeah, she's poison ivy. Josefina's story is done for now. I think Josefina has a lot more story, because I think we need to actually meet more of the family, because she did say, we'll talk about, they said they want to know more about their family history. The only person that can tell them that is Josefina, because it's not like anybody else in their family is coming to visit or lining up. And where the hell is Ray? Where is Ray? I am so confused. Ray just dropped off the face of the earth. I don't know why. His daughters are now alive. He can literally show up whenever the hell he wants. Where's their dad? I don't get it. I don't get it. Everybody, Josefina is spelled with an F. There is no PH sound. Oh, if I'm butchering it, you already know. You already know. You know I'm going to butcher this name. You know it. I can't help it. It's just who I am, man. It's just who I am. I no disrespect. I don't have it. I wonder if her demon side is out of control because she has a demonic energy of 3 immensely powerful demons in one body, from her, Parker, and Macy. Maybe her being can't handle the energy. I think it's because her actual demon side was formidable, which is why her mother took it out in the first place. Which, if her mother was able to extract it before with the totem, can't you just extract it back into the totem again? I don't get that. Why can't you do that? I don't know. It's confusing. What if Josefina becomes a bad person and she tries to be a top witch and take out the charm? I don't think they're going to do that. Mm-mm. Laugh out. She's no Billy with a projection power, but the power of the green is okay too. I couldn't stand Billy, so I mean, I hated Billy. I really hated her sister Christy, and I just wanted both of them to be locked in that damn prison that the Perfecti have made. I could not stand that storyline. I mean, for me, the show got stupid when they came in. Okay, wait, read that one. Let me scroll back up. Sorry about that. The self-hate is so bad, but I wonder if giving up the demon powers by itself would be a thing because half her magic is witch. True. That's what thing. I don't know why she would bind all of her powers. Why wouldn't she just use the... Can't she just use the dagger that she used on Macy and just take her demon power away? Like, I don't get that. I don't get that at all. That's weird. The board said something else, time and space. You mean in the attic or in the command center? I have to go back and look at that. I think Josefina is a time witch. No, I don't think she is. I think she's a nature witch. And I like the fact that they have that. I mean, they already have an elemental witch. They have Human Torch / Elsa and Mel. So, I mean, why not have? You know, if they keep going, they'll have Captain Planet pretty soon. They can combine their powers and they'll just appear. And then everything will be fine. I was wondering who called that theory about Josefina having nature abilities. I know I mentioned it and someone else did. And I'm going to have to go back and watch my stream because somebody asked me what powers I thought they should have. And I remember answering it. But I remember one of the things I did say was we've never had anybody who had nature type powers. And someone else said that too. And I cannot, I'm old, guys. I'm in my 40s now. And again, I'm anemic and anemia makes you forget stuff. So I don't know. Like, I don't remember who it was. If you remember it was you, say it. But I don't know. No. Give them thumbs up, y'all. Yes, get those thumbs up. Thank you, girl. Thank you, girl. Well, he just gonna go to be his real age in about an hour. If Harry goes normal, he will be. No. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. I don't think he's really thinking this through because what if he does age all at once? He's like over 200 years old or 130 years old or something like that. Yeah, that's going to be attractive. I mean, but it's true love. So maybe Macy will be okay with that. I don't know. Almost perfect with Perfecti. No, they're not. I love when they were looking at the internet and they're like, what is this World Wide Web? And he's like, it looks like a spider trap. And Harry's like, yeah, sometimes it could be. But then they find a dog that's taking a math quiz and they're like, basically they have to go get the dog because the dog obviously is a demon or something. I'm like, okay, this poor dog, he probably is not. And he's going to go to the mystical jail just for being able to be in an Instagram photo. That's horrible. 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 I was wondering how they afforded the honeymoon suite. You know what? Well, first of all, they were upgraded. And they didn't have to worry about flying there because he could have, orbed her there. But you have a good point. How did they afford dinner and even a hotel room in this place? Now, one could say that when Macy inherited Safe Space, she has a salary. So she's using her salary. What I've never understood, even in season 2, which I guess it's because they're supposedly dead. So maybe all their bank accounts were frozen. But I found it hard to believe that Macy, who was a scientist, who made a really nice salary, was broke. So the only thing I could put ration in my brain was because they were dead, they could not access any funds from their bank accounts. But now she shouldn't have that problem. I mean, let's be clear. Who's paying for Maggie to go to school? Maggie is not working at Safe Space. She was a manager, but she's not there anymore. Who's footing the bill? I doubt she has a scholarship because with what? I mean, what credential? I mean, maybe they were able to transfer credits from her previous university, but she was struggling to pay for college in season 1. So how is she affording college right now? I'm just saying. I've always had questions about how they survive because I don't get it. I don't get it. Are they rich? Nope. That's the thing. They are not supposed to be rich. They're supposed to be like working class. I mean, hell, Mel's working part-time. She doesn't get a good salary. She's a professor, but she's a part-time professor. So whatever she makes is probably right above minimum wage. I know that's how it is here. So I don't see how they can afford groceries half the time, but they do. How many episodes do we have this season? I think 21, but don't quote me. I have to go back and look. In Mel's defense, she literally went from one of the most powerful witches in less than a year to the potion princess. I understand the power down. And I get that. That's why. But I think having her tell, Josefina, that she is not like saying powers don't make you a witch when all you did was whine about not having your powers and not feeling like a true witch in season 2 is kind of hypocritical in a way. But, whatever. Okay, we have 18 episodes. So did they count? Because originally it was supposed to be 21. Did they cut the last 3 episodes? That's interesting. Probably because of COVID, though. I bet you that's what it was. When they were circling and they did the interviews right before COVID hit, they said that the 3rd season would have a 21 episode run. So it probably is very heavily influenced by the fact that COVID hit. So it's screwing up a lot of shows. It's interesting seeing how Josefina is developing as a character. Will she become a major villain or become more like a 6th ranger to the charm one? She'll be the 6th ranger, but she'll get into trouble though, because all new witches have to get into trouble. Hell, the charm ones are still doing stupid stuff. So, I mean, I think a witch should be more powerful when she's using potions besides relying on her powers. I think if we go like in terms of power, I mean, like look when Maggie was doing the therapy session. And Macy just comes in with a potion she got from Josefina to freeze people. And I'm like, I thought it was interesting that Macy didn't make this potion. She got it from Josefina. So that tells me that she is a lot more advanced in potion making than all 3 of them are. But I will say, I also was trying to figure out how they were going to explain to this therapist who was sitting there talking to this client that she just up and left without her knowing it. She's going to think something is wrong with her. I'm like, am I crazy? There was someone sitting on this couch. Now there's a note in my lap. How did I miss her leaving? That's so weird. Macy could have said, hey, we need to go. I'll be outside. Then the lady unfreezes. And then Maggie's like, something came up. I'm so sorry. I forgot I have to be somewhere. Can we do this? I know this is unprofessional, but I really want to see you again. I'll reschedule later and blah, blah, blah. Sorry for wasting your time. Instead of just up and leaving, making this woman think something's effing wrong with herself and her sanity. So I don't know. I thought there was a better way to handle that situation, but writers. What is Jordan's take on Harry's White Lighter role for a while as a storyline? I would like Jordan to take it on, but I think he really likes the fact that he's human. Plus, if he becomes a White Lighter, then he can't be with Maggie. And Maggie was like, called him. She basically said, "You're a great friend." And I like how he was like, "Yeah, friend." Like friend zoned again. It's like their timing never matches up. She's finally ready to say some stuff, even though she's like, "It's the year of me." And now he's in a magical prison, which I guess she's going to think he's just blowing her off and not answering the phone, which makes no sense. Why didn't she just have a vision? Why didn't she can't she force a vision for Jordan? Like to see what's going on with Jordan? Like if I saw my phone, I called him, I saw that weird stuff happening on my phone, I would probably try and figure out why that was happening. I'm hoping that is something that happens next week. But again, it didn't look like it from the preview. It looked like everything was focused on Harry. And that would irritate me because Harry had a lot, and I mean effing lot of show, time in season 2. They showcased his character so much at the expense of everybody else's character development. So I will be very irritated that next week's entire episode is just Hasty. I love Hasty, but I don't love Hasty enough to sacrifice every other character in this damn show. So I need them to stop, make it even, focus on someone else. So that's going to make me have issues, but just wanted to say hi. I can't watch. I missed the episode. I forgot it was moved to Friday. I hope you have a great stream. I'll definitely watch after I watch episode 2. Bye. All right. Thanks, Blue Savior. That we did this. They cut it short so we can start season 4 on cover. Okay, that makes sense. I'm okay with that. How much do we actually know about where magic comes from in the Charmed universe? I mean, the freaking tree, and the black amber is what I'm beginning to think that that's literally the source of all magic, is that freaking tree, and the black amber. Which then, why can't Josiefina just touch the black amber and get powers like they did? I have so many questions about this universe. I really do. What decision do you think Harry will make? I think Harry will want to be mortal, but something might happen and he won't be able to heal anyone. And I think that's going to basically put him in that whole headspace of, as a mortal, I'm not as effective to the charm ones. I'm not their not my chargers anymore. What can I do to help them if I'm mortal? I'm choosing my woman over my duty. I think it's going to come into play, because it's always come into play for him. Right now, he's in his hormones, but and in his feelings, and he doesn't want to be alone. He doesn't want Macy to grow old without him. But I don't know what the rush is right now. She's still fairly young. Why doesn't he wait until she's caught up to him age-wise, like 30-ish, 40s, and then say, I want to be mortal? Maybe in the 30s, 40s range, when they want to have kids and they're like, I'm done with doing this. I mean, yes, we're the charm ones, but I want to have a family. Then say, hey, I want to be mortal. Why do you have to be mortal while she's 27? I mean, you're already feeling weird about your age. Let her catch up to you first, and then do it. Doesn't that seem like a better plan? I don't know. This seems like a better plan to me, but whatever. I don't know. But I thought she is 30. So some of the wikis say she's 27. One says she's 29. I don't think any of them said that she was 30 yet. I thought 29 was the oldest age that we got. But I think that Mel's supposed to be 26, but I don't know. If she's 30, then even if she's 30, how many episodes have we had this season where we've heard Harry basically be told that she seems young for him, if you want to be with a younger woman. So I think that waiting for her to look closer to his age, which she might not, because I'm in my 40s and I don't think I look like I'm in my 40s. So she may just have that gene, because black don't crack. So I'm like, he just may be SOL. But at least in age, they could say, she's in her 40s and then he's in his 40s, and then they're like on the same level. But I don't know. Again, I don't know. What about the witch store that Mel has? Josefina would be perfect to run that shop. Yeah, somebody needs to run that damn store. I'm assuming the store is gone. I don't ever hear anything about the store. I mean, I assume that they are getting ingredients from the store, but we don't see that anymore. It almost feels like the command center just has everything in the cabinets. So because I remember them opening it and finding different things in there. So, I mean, I don't understand what the purpose of that damn store was. It literally served a little bit of a purpose in season 2, but when they got their powers back, it's like they just didn't bother with the store anymore. And I have no idea. We know that Jordan's gym is still up there, but I have no idea. I would love for Kat to come back just one episode and be like, where the hell is my store? I'm like, what did you do? I left for a year? Yeah. That witch store, I don't know. It's probably way, way gone. This reboot does not do well with continuity. Everything that happens previously doesn't come back until it's needed. Yeah, randomly comes back too. So you literally have no idea what you can get attached to, because you don't know what'll be there in the next season. Even if it seems like something major, it's like, what was the point? There's no point to any of this. So I want to know where the hell Swan is. Swan's gone again. I'm tired. Swan is gone. Swan needs to run safe space. Macy just needs to stay in her lane. And yeah, I said it. She needs to stay in her lane. And her lane right now is just hazy. So let Swan do it. Oh, you said the same. There's still no Swan. I'm a Swan. I'm on Swan watch. I'm telling you, I don't get it. Just like the biggest thing they revealed about Harry is that he is a cheater, and that he fathered another child with another woman. He had 2 families. Why tell us this and then never go back to it? Don't go back to it for any reason whatsoever. whatsoever. It is so stupid to me. I wonder if the writers even remember they said that. Because, I mean, at the time, it felt like it was important. But now it's just like, meh, it's just Harry. That's why whenever Harry makes a judgment call on somebody, I keep remembering that he cheated on his wife and followed a kid with another woman. I always put that in my head. I'm like, you're not that good. I mean, you did this. So that's why I don't like it when he judges Abby for anything, because he was not a good guy prior to being a white lighter. So yeah, there's that. That's not a bad idea. They should also go more deeply in the Latin American mystical heritage, since these charmed ones are Latinas. True. But Macy and Maggie need to learn Spanish first, because they don't know Spanish very well. Well, Maggie knows very little. I don't think Macy knows any. She wasn't raised with them. Remember, Orban was a Western type of magic. The perfect I have been told a waste of time. Oh, listen to them talk is awesome. The perfect eye are amazing. They're just effing amazing. They are so shady. It's not even funny. They're shady, but they're comical about it. Like the avatars were just boring in like the OG charm. You can tell that there was something nefarious about them. They're just really boring. These two are crazy as hell. So at least, if anything, they are very entertaining. Macy was well off as a doctor and now as the owner of Safe Space. Yeah, she has money. Like, I don't think she got to get any of her previous money back, but then what do I know? I don't know how any of this works, because quite frankly, I still don't understand why they weren't arrested for basically faking their own death, because a lot of people will come out and say, hey, that's insurance fraud, especially if their father had policies on Mel and Maggie and they didn't know about it, like life insurance policies, and he collected, and now they come to find out that they're alive. I mean, that's fraud. They should be in jail. So I guess we're just going to believe that a spell was cast and all that was undone. And I guess everything that happened to them in Hilltown never happened. Maybe the connections they made there never happened because these people aren't reaching out to them to find them. Like, if I thought my friend was dead, or when Nico's concerned, if I thought the girl that I was still hung up on was dead, and then I found out that she was alive, you think I wouldn't go find her? That's really weird to me. But that's how they write this show. So hopefully Mel is in a good mood when they find out what happened to Abby and Jordan, or Mel might try and leave Abby in there. I'm telling you, I think the only reason that Abby will be saved is by proxy when they save Jordan, and probably because Jordan will say, I'm not leaving without Abby. Because I mean, I could see them going, like, come on, Jordan. Well, Abby's here too. Well, we can't save her. We don't have time to look for her, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm not leaving without her. I literally can see this conversation. I can see it play out like that. And that is so effing sad, depending, if you really think about how many times that woman has saved their ass. It's just sad. My charm Sorok idea, an evil set of charm ones comes to conquer our earth after rising to power on their own earth. These evil charm ones are narcissistic parodies of the Howell sisters. Well, I mean, that's pretty much their actresses. Like, because they hate this show, and they've already had it out with Maggie's actress on Twitter. So then there you go. Rose McGowan and Holly, and I think Alyssa is one of the ones that doesn't like the show too. I think that Shannon Doherty was like, I don't care, it's fine. But yeah, having Alyssa, Holly, and Rose be the evil charm ones would be funny. I'd watch it. It would be funny as hell. Let me see. Macy, she's 30. She's turning 31 this year. Okay. I believe you guys. I just know on some of the wikis, they probably have the ages wrong, because I remember them saying that she was 29 on one and 27 on another one. So that's why I was confused. But I mean, again, it's not hard to be confused in the reboot, because they have too many writers writing too many different plots and none of them connect. It's kind of like watching a DCEU movie where you think the DC universe is all one big universe, but in reality, it's a 25 million multiverse bubble or individual bubbles that don't connect, except sometimes may have similar characters. It's pretty much what I think about Charmed. I'm like, only unfortunately, it has the same characters and the multiverses of Charmed exist. It's really weird. Let's see. Trying to make sure I don't miss everything. Abby's demon side might be stronger than it was when she was younger. Well, Yeah. But I still think, I mean, her mother has to be a powerful witch to be able to bind her demon side anyway, by herself without a charmed one around. So the only thing I think that's hindering her is that her mother and sister don't want to help her. And they were willing to give her that totem back. And basically with a note saying, don't contact us anymore. And the sister's like, don't reach out to me anymore. So that's interesting. I really want to meet her sister. And I really want to know about her mother. Because I think that that'll explain a lot more about Abby. That there is like a deep-seated trauma in that woman's life. And it is so sad. And like when Mel was talking, Josefina down, I was just thinking, you're such a hypocrite because of how you literally reacted to somebody who was trying to self-harm. Like that's hypocritical as hell. Don't sit here and say being a witch is about helping people, but you can't pick and choose who you helped. And that's what Mel does. And it irritates me. So she used to be my favorite character, guys. So this is really hard for me. It's hard for me to talk about Mel this way, but I can't not do it. Those 2 episodes where she blatantly disregarded somebody who was having mental health issues, regardless of how you feel about the character, that is effed up. So I will always stand by that. That is effed up. So how they wrote Mel was someone who was not compassionate, and basically picked and choose who she gave compassion to. And that pissed me off. So whenever she does these little moralistic things now, where she has these little conversations, like the one she had with Josefina today, when you're a witch, you have to put others above yourself, basically, all of this like selfless stuff is BS, because you've shown throughout the season so far that you aren't capable of that when it comes to certain people. And that is not how that should work. Just putting it out there. Just saying. Was Abby's mother a possible elder? Probably. The elders were shady, man. They were shady. Just like their mom. Their mother was an elder. And in the next episode, apparently she wrote a letter to their future selves. And I really want to know what that letter says, because they, again, shady. So, yeah. I mean, if Alistair did what he did to Parker's mom with the mesmerizing and torture, then I can understand the trauma. It's kind of like having to raise a child not born of consent that favors the offender. True, but it's still not the child's fault. That's something I never understood. You can't take out on the child what the parent does. That's a form of abuse. And Abby was definitely abused by that mother, especially if she played favorites with her other child. It is not. I mean, a good video game reference is Dead or Alive with Ayane and Kasumi. Was it Ayane's fault that the mother was raped? No. And she was treated like a secondhand citizen, and, got to watch Kasumi and Hayate run around, and, with hardly any disregard for her well-being, or they had no knowledge that was even their sister for a very long time. So, I mean, it's crazy. It is crazy. I hope they don't become like the Hallowells. Yeah, that would be weird. It's sad how Jordan and Abby are constantly bringing it versus the charm ones. It's so disappointing that those 3 narcissistic women on the TC are the charm ones. Damn, these girls need a lesson. I mean, I'm not going to lie. They are very hypocritical at times. I don't know why, but again, the characters are not the problem. It is the writing. It's always going to be the fault of the writing. The showrunner and the producers and the writing room, all of them need to be on the same page when they write these characters. If you want these characters to be entitled or narcissistic, then they need to be that way from the jump. You can't morph them into, one episode, you're just a bitch. And the next episode, you're just so selfless. And the next episode, you're very understanding. And then the next episode, you're back to being a bitch. And it's like, it's the writing. It sucks. And, I love the concepts. I love even some of the stories that they do have so much potential, but I just feel like they don't have the writing staff to pull off the characters in terms of not having them out of character while they progress in these stories, because that's the problem that I have. And if you can't write a character without making them out of character from everything we've learned from season 1, then what is the point of you writing for the show? And that is definitely, so you can see the CW will never sponsor me, like ever. And I'm okay with that. So it's fine. Completely okay. Yep, it is definitely the writing. And the mom, if she couldn't have done it, she would have allowed someone else to give the child its needs. She should have put Abby up for adoption or something if she didn't. I mean, and then look, Abby went to go find her dad because her mom obviously didn't give a crap. And then he tried to kill her. So, I mean, she's got emotional issues. I mean, it is so obvious. If anybody had shown Abby kindness growing up, she would never have gotten to this point. And even though she is the overlord right now, she still doesn't attack witches. She actually protects the charmed ones, even though they tell her she's a waste of space. It's pretty bad. Maria, these are not working class girls. Their mom was a university professor and department head. Macy is a doctor and now on Safe Space, and Mel is a college professor. They are upper middle. Well, so Ray, I don't think Mel is a college professor in terms of full tenure. I get a really good salary. No, she is on the equivalent of a teacher. One sec, sorry. My camera's being weird. Let's see. All right, I don't know. I think my camera, well, it's saying StreamYard error. Can you guys still hear me? Okay, well, I guess there's just going to be audio then, because it's saying StreamYard error with a code, and I have no idea what that means, and it's kind of irritating since I pay for it. But all right, let me go back to what I was saying. Okay, Mel is basically a part-time, glorified kind of freshman college teacher. So she doesn't make a lot of money. Now I will get behind Macy having money, but Macy's always seemed like a second citizen in the family. Like, she came in, so she wasn't included in the new money dynamic. Maggie had no money, and I mean, she doesn't. She worked as a waitress. They were struggling to figure out how she was going to pay to go to school in season 1. And then remember when they did the spell to erase Nico's memories, basically, like, all of them in general, like, all their jobs got kind of warped. I don't even think Maggie was still a waitress. I know that Mel became a bartender. So yeah, it's just weird. It's just really weird. I love that. Did you say you love my podcast? Yeah, it's saying error. My camera's fine. I have no idea what's going on, like, at all. I apologize. It has actually never done that in the stream before. So it just says StreamYard error. I don't have time to try and figure out what the error is. So I will just send a ticket to them and say, I pay you. Don't let this happen again. Fix my crap. That's literally how that goes. So anyway, but I am not going to stop because StreamYard's being weird. It came on for a moment with the picture. Did it? Huh. I don't know why. But let's go to another one of the questions. The average salary of a professor in Washington is $60K plus, and Washington is above national average for the profession. True, but remember, she's part-time. So a full-time professor, we'd probably get $60K, not somebody who works 21 hours a week. And that's not going to happen. I mean, even if she were to make 60 grand, she's working 21 hours a week. So she's still not making bank. Macy really is the breadwinner of that family, even right now. I guess Maggie quit her job. They never really said it, but I don't know. I mean, does anyone remember them saying, hey, Maggie quit and is no longer, the manager at Safe Space? And if she's not the manager and Jordan's in law school, I'm assuming he's not teaching there either. I don't know. Like, that's the thing. It's just not clear. It is not clear. And yes, I do see the cameras trying to jump on. Our StreamYard's doing some kind of weird stuff. So if I jump on, that's great. If I don't, whatever. I'm like, I just can't. I can't be bothered. Like I said, that's what anemia does to me, guys. It just makes me not care right now. It's just how it is. Let's see. Working class usually don't denotes the lower end of the middle class, but they are not affluent either. This is true. I agree with that. Trying to see if I miss any. I'm scrolling up right now. I want to see if I miss anything. I feel like we answered a lot of the questions in terms of money. What's under his eye, Ray? What's under his eye? What did I miss? Like, sorry. This is definitely very podcasty. I'll give you that. Like, it's kind of cool. It's all right, Maria. We use as a studio sponsor reviewer. Is like, that's true. Because if you have a studio sponsor reviewer, then they feel like they have to always say something good about whoever they're talking about or whether the project is. And I am not that person. So, yeah. Had maids tell Joe. Oh, okay. Who has more cash, Macy or Peru at Buckland? So I think, she was an art curator. Depends. So like, I always felt like Peru was the art curator, and they gave her an okay salary, but it wasn't like she would need to have Piper's, income to support everything and to keep their mortgage on their house if they had a mortgage. I think eventually they did take a mortgage out for P3. And I feel like Macy just had none of that. Macy also, I think, got scholarships in school. So it really depends. If Peru had student loans, then Macy, because I feel like Macy got a free ride because she was really, really smart in school and science. And that means she didn't have any debt coming out of school. And then you always got to think about that. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It's how much debt you have. That is the true question. Let's see. People often mistake us middle class and middle income interchangeably, but they are very different. Well, I am the non-existent class. I have money sometimes, and sometimes I'm broke. Sometimes my money from my job goes into my account, and then all of the people that want the money for bills take it automatically. And I just say for that 5 seconds, I got paid for 5 minutes. And that's literally how that works. So I don't even have a class at this point. Prue paid most of the bills in the manner Phoebe's job was freeloader first few seasons. That's true. Phoebe didn't have crap. Now, but Piper did work as a chef's assistant. Then I thought she became a chef or lead chef at Quake. And then she decided to do something else, like get the club. So she went and remember at the very beginning, she worked at a bank. So Piper worked at a bank. Then her dream was to be a chef. And so she wanted to try and be a chef, and she worked as a chef's assistant and all that at a restaurant at Quake. And then she decided to open the club. So she basically already had employment. But if we're going by who had the most money out of the Hallowells, then that's Prue. Because even Paige was a social worker, and then she went to temp work before magic school. Or I think she went to magic school after temp work. I have to go back and look at that. And then she just became like literally a full-time white lighter. But yeah, Prue always was the breadwinner in that sense. But if it's between her and Macy, it's hard because I don't know if she had student loans, if she has all this debt. Like if Prue was still alive, she'd still be paying off some of the mortgage to open P3 because they all had to mortgage the house to get enough money to open the club. So yeah, these are all, I love how we have these wonderful discussions about finances and Charmed. See, no, people don't talk about this stuff in other streams, I'm sure. Paige made the least amount of money of their careers. I agree. Because after a while, Phoebe was making bank because she was a very, at that point, successful gossip columnist. And I think she started doing talk shows and stuff by the series finale. So, and she would need to, because I don't think her husband can work when you're just a retired Cupid, or I don't even know if he was retired. If you could redo the power development, how would you do it? Who will get what? In the reboot Charmed, I liked season 1. I think Macy should have had telekinesis. So I'm down with that. I like the fact that Mel was the definition of a time witch. And I thought now Maggie's always been a little weird because she always seemed to be telepathic, empathic, and psychic at the same time. And I felt like they kind of overdid hers a little bit. I think they should have chose one. If they didn't want her to have premonitions, then they should have made her telepathic, which, would have been fine. And if they wanted to know what was happening, they could cast divination spells or something like that. But I like the original lineup of their powers. I still don't like, I don't like what's happening with their power. Like Macy seems closer to her original powers, but like everybody else just seems so effing weird. Like Mel's powers bother me the most. They just do. I'm tired of her being Elsa and Human Torch, and I just don't like it. I don't like it. But again, I mean, actually, I think Mel was the most drastic change out of all of them. Like Maggie kind of got an upgrade if you really think about it. She still got to keep her premonitions, but now she has this emotion push feel like powers where she can make you feel whatever she wants. It's almost like she's a drug. And it's just Mel is just, yeah. I don't like it. Mel is closer to Molecule Man. I agree with that. She absolutely is closer to Molecule Man. I need to see some Mel witches in the series just so I can feel like I'm part of. I don't know what's up with that. I mean, you may get your fix if you watch Motherland Fort Salem season 2, because we know that they have male witches in that series. I don't know why men can't be witches in the Charm universe. It's very strange. I don't get it. I don't know why having a penis and testicles basically eliminate you from having the ability to cast spells or have powers. But apparently none of the comic books got the message. So it's just very weird. It is very weird. I did some research that Charm One's powers are similar to Jean Grey and Phoenix. Part of them, yeah. It's like I said, they do take a lot of references from obviously comic books. They probably were big fans of Bewitched and all these other magical shows back in the day that they could pull from. But I don't know. I just feel like I like the idea of having a time witch. I like the idea of having like a movement witch, basically, or and then having an emotion witch. I like how they did it in season 1. I really wish we could have kept that. I don't know why we had to morph this stuff. Like Mel, particularly, I just don't like it. I don't like it. Would you recommend Fort Salem? Yes. I've been watching it from its inception. As a matter of fact, I did the very first review the night it aired before anybody else did it because I watched the trailer and I was like, I'm going to like this show. So I have been following it from the beginning. Now you are going to have to battle through the shippers. There are some shippers for one particular couple that they can get a little toxic, but that's going to be with a lot of fan bases. But if you say something about this couple, they will want to kill you. So be ready for that, and you'll see it. I got a lot of crap for calling out a certain character's action because the character looks cute with another character. People are willing to accept anything that this character does because of the ship, and I don't do that. So, but outside of that, it is a very good show. I want to see Mel witches, other witches, Godric. I really think they need to bring Godric back. I have no idea where Godric even is. It's very weird. He was so nefarious, and now all of a sudden he's just like, well, not trying anymore. I don't know what that's about. They just need to bring him back. He's probably dead, but yeah. I mean, he might have been killed. I might have missed this. Did Godric die? Did Abby kill Godric? Did somebody else kill Godric? I don't know. I felt he just like teleported away and never came back. I thought basically Macy is the new Piper, and so she should have got Mel powers of molecules, and it would make sense. So Macy isn't the new Piper in a way. She's actually still closer to Peru. Piper's narcissistic behavior is closer to Mel. like Mel and her are both the two neurotic ones. Really, actually, if I'm gonna be real about this, the two neurotic ones of the group are Maggie and Phoebe. So Maggie and Phoebe are very close in characters. But I always thought that the older two were kind of like a hybrid between characters. So you had the activist kind of no nonsense type that, you know, Mel has. You see that in Paige. Paige was always the one that was like, you know, yeah, I'm new, but, you know, always one ready to fight or debate Piper over stuff. So I definitely see that in Mel. But, you know, she also has a little bit more of Piper in her too. Whereas she was the older sister, so she had the whole connection, and she, you know, she acted as the older sister because it was just her and Maggie for a long time. So she's kind of like a hybrid between Paige and Piper. And the same technically can be said for Macy. If you really look at Macy's story, Macy also has the kind of backstory that Paige has, in that she's the sister that was the odd one out, but she's also more Prue. She's more responsible. She's more logical. So she's a hybrid between Prue and Paige. So the only one for me that's actually closer to Piper is Mel. Mel is just, to me, a hybrid between, you know, again, Paige and Piper. So yeah, it's interesting. I actually did a video about this. I actually, when we talked about Charm and I compared them, I actually explained all of this in my Charm video. I'll see if I can find it and link it, you know, below in the video or in the description. But I remember specifically talking about how I thought these, you know, how the sisters interact with each other and how they were like hybrids of the OG Charmed. And I think they did that on purpose. So, but you know, I'm okay with, just like if you look at Paige being half White Lighter and Macy being half demon, I mean, their circumstances are similar, but at the same time, the yin and yang of each other. Whereas Paige is the baby of the sisters, Macy's the oldest. So there's just, it's like they took something, they went completely opposite with it, but still kept it in the same, you know, realm to keep it as connected as possible, even though they're like, we're trying to do our own show, but there's too many elements they pull from the OG Charm to be completely its own original show. So it's crazy, but I like it. The Perfecta said that the magical creatures put their powers in the two perfect beings. When I think perfect, I think of kids.